Welcome back to our third and final of the initial run of the Spellcrow Argatoria videos. Today we're going to talk about the units we haven't discussed. So there was one unit that went into the Aurochs Sorgax side of the list, and one went into the Viandral Dirandis side of the list, and then also some terrain pieces that they do. So we're going to talk about those things today, and then that's everything discussed that we have so far. So the first unit we're going to discuss today is the Slagos, who are a unit who are only in the Sorgax list. So they share most of the units in the Aurochs and Sorgax list are shared, but there are a couple of units that only go in one side or the other. So these are large base models. You get 4, and they're snakes in effect. So let's see if we can get some out and have a little look at them. Here's one here. Well, here's 2 here actually. So they're kind of snakish, but they've got some kind of reptilian, maybe even fish-like. Yeah, they're interesting, aren't they? Like eels with fins. Yeah, nice. So you get 4 of these in a pack, and these are a little bit more expensive than the regular, but not as expensive as the big fellas. So these are $7.50. That's again in GB pounds. So other currencies may be different. Very cool looking face on this fella here. Look at this. He looks mean. Looks like the evil snake out of the Jungle Book, isn't it? What's his name? I can't remember now. My brain's going to jelly as I get older. But that's who he reminds me of. And then we got the final one here. So as usual, lovely bits of kit that you get from Spellcrow. They really do excel in producing fine 10mm stuff in resin. Let's get the old blue ruler out and see what we've got. So it's a bit awkward to measure these up, but I mean you'd want to know if you fit them on a 40 by 20. So it's about 30 mil long, and then width wise, let's see if you can fit 20 wide. Kind of. There might be a tiny bit of overhang with a tail on this fella. Let's see if you can. God damn, it's hard work keeping this on camera and lined up, so it'd be like this. Maybe a slight. No, maybe it all stays in there. Yeah. And let's have a look at one other that's not on the sprue. Yeah, a little bit of an overhang, but nothing to worry about, I don't think. So they were the Slagos, and they were for the Sorgax only. So the next unit are Sasquatches, or the kind of yetis, aren't they? They're abominable snowmen. These are only in the Durandis side of the Viandral Dirandis list, and these are a regular size unit. So these are £6.50 for a pack of 4, and we'll get them out and see what they look like. Okay, so what have we got here? Okay, nice muscle definition on the torso. Obviously been working out. Lockdown hasn't taken any of their toll on these fellas. They're still having to go out and hunt for their food. No internet deliveries. Can we see their faces? Yeah. Kind of a bit ape-like in the face. Plenty of hair. That'll come out nice on dry brushing or contrast paint, whichever way you want to go. They've got, what do you say, they're bone-type tusk clubs. So broken off woolly mammoths. You wouldn't want to mess with these fellas, would you? Nice pert buns. Look at those. God damn. Yeah, so you get 4 of these fellas. We'll measure them up. The bigger stuff tended to be about 15 mil, if I remember rightly, although it has been a week or 2 since I've done the last ones. I've been on holiday. Oh, these are bigger, aren't they? So, can we me see this guy here. I think he's a full 18 mil, isn't he? We're getting very near to 18 mil. Maybe 17, maybe. But yeah, these are probably the 17. I think these are probably, apart from the giant, these are the biggest fellas, because I think the ogres were 15s. So yeah, I like these. So you get a unit of 4 for £6.50, and these are the Sasquatches for the this range. And next up we have a range of scenery. So this is called Reptilian Watchtower. And you get obviously 2 of them, as you can see. They're £5.60. Let's pause while I open it up. So you get 2. I'm pretty sure they're identical. They certainly look identical. Let's have a look. Yeah. So you get 2 identical watchtowers. They feel quite solid, so I guess they're solid resin. They haven't got a cavity in the middle that I can see. Got a nice Spellcrow logo at the bottom, and you've got a snap tab here that I haven't broken off yet. Again, contrast paint or a little bit of undercoat, and then some dry brush and wash. These will come out lovely. Wooden top there. Yeah, so these are the nice little piece to go on your tabletop. 10mm scenery is not that easy to come by, so all 10mm scenery is very welcome, especially with a fantasy vibe. You can tend to get like Germanic medieval buildings and the like, but this kind of reptilian stuff, or we're going to look at some orcs and ogre type stuff in a minute. So that's about 25mm square, and it is, get on the camera, it's about 40mm high. So 25mm square, 40mm high. And they are the watchtowers from the Reptilian Watchtowers, and they are £5.60 for 2. Okay, next up are Savage Villages. Savage Village. And this is Savage Village 1, I believe, because there is a Savage Village 2 coming in a minute. And so it looks like 3 identical models again. So we'll grab one of these out to have a look at. We have a yurt. Is that what this kind of things is described as? Like a nomadic kind of Mongol type affair. Nice tusks again here, look, and a strap to the tusks. That's not blowing away in the wind. So you could use this for, yeah, I guess any of these fellas, any of these savage races. Not the reptilian, these would be for the Viandril and Darandris. But again, you could use these for your orcs. They're probably a bit small for ogres. But definitely your orcs, your goblins, or your barbarian human types. I'll measure one up in a second. Hopefully you've been some nice work on here again. Nice casts as always. Okay, let's have a look, see if we can measure across. It's always interesting doing it on camera. What's that? Probably about 30mm. And then height wise, about 15mm. And these are £5.60 a pack. Okay, so next up is the other half of the Savage Villages of Savage Village 2, V2. Slightly more expensive at £6.50 a pack. A little bit more intricate. We've got some a pyramid shaped here. We've got a nice wood log here strapped in. 3 bones on the front. Nice sharp points on these. They really did do very well at getting the detail in. Look at those little the stitching on the front of the tent. Yeah, it's lovely. Really lovely design, whoever made this. So you get 3 of these in a pack, and this is Village 2. So you've got the round ones and you've got some triangular ones. One day we're going to lose my finger. We haven't lost my finger on this one. We have got Entrance to Savage Village. So you've got a couple of types of Savage Village, and then these are Savage Village entrance, £5.60, and these are a couple of giant way markers. Like, look at those entrance markers. Again, a massive tusk there. God knows where that came off. That's huge. And then some stones with runes on. Are they identical? I would think so. Yeah, looking pretty identical to me. So if so, we can just focus on one. Yeah. Skull, obligatory skull. It's quite discreet though. It took me a second pass to spot him. It's not like we got 450 million skulls. I don't mind the odd skull. It's quite dramatic having the odd skull. Just gets out of hand when there's a sea of bloody skulls. Shouldn't use the word bloody, so I'll have to cut that out. A sea of skulls. So let's have a look at height wise. This, what's that? About 40 mil. Yeah. Lengthwise, about 50 mil, and width looks like 20. Yeah, about 20 mil. Oh, good stuff. I like those. They're very effective. In fact, I'll try and get these painted up soon because I need some. I always need terrain. In 10 mil, and it's nice to finally get a bit of fantasy terrain. So I'll be painting up the Savage Villages and this Savage Village entrance. So the final thing we're going to talk about today is a Ziggurat, which is a £12 terrain piece, kind of reptilian-ish, I guess is what they're selling it as. It, as I've said a couple of times on this video already, it's always nice to get 10 mil terrain, especially fantasy based 10 mil terrain rather than historical based 10 mil terrain. So we have a big square building made of rock. So it says 2, these are the front and back. So we've got a little door here, a couple of windows, and we've got 2 copies of this, which helps the old packing droids, because packing is possibly one of the most difficult jobs to do, and anything that helps it go easier and better is 100% cool in my book. So a nice little Spellcrow logo on the back. I do like the way they do that. So 2 of these, front and back, and then you've got your sides, again 2 of these. Yeah, it says 2 on the back of these. You put your front and your back together like this, your front and your side together, and you do the same on the other side, and that forms a nice rectangle. And then we have our roof. So our roof, 2 pieces, piece 1 and piece 2, connect together like this. Nice piece of kit. How big is it going to be on the table, I ask? How big? How big? So it is about, what's that, about 75 mil on the short side and about 100 mil on the long side. And how tall? How tall? About 40 mil. So that's a nice big centerpiece. So we'll get this again, easy to paint up. Just undercoat, bit of contrast paint, bit of dry brushing here. Again, if you did your contrast paint on here, or you could do dry brush on here, it wouldn't take hardly any time at all. And it would certainly grace any wargaming table. This is what I'm more excited to paint the terrain pieces than anything, I think. Not that my painting's anything to write home about, but the contrast paint has brought a new lease of life to my painting. So anything that makes people paint more, even if it's just half an hour or an hour a day, has got to be commended. So all in all, that's the last piece from Spellcrow Argatoria. Thanks again, Tatiana, for sending this for me to look at and talk about. It's very kind of you, very generous. The beta rules are up there. Beta rules number 15, I can see on my screen. So if you're interested in the game, go and have a look at it. Go and look at Spellcrow and the models that they do. Give feedback about the game. When the game finally releases, I will attempt to maybe talk about it a little bit. Maybe talk about some of my feedback on the rules and the gameplay and stuff. And I've already started building like army lists and stuff in my head. I'm not sure my schedule, my gaming schedule, nerd schedule, will allow me to actually find the time to play this game, because my dance card's pretty full. but I will do my damnedest. And so thank you very much, and speak to you again next time.